Let's bring in Lexi Rigdon, who is a criminal defense attorney. And Lexi, this decision by the court is critical on both the substance and the timing. Let us start with the timing. Walk us through the chronology, what this is going to look like now that the Supreme Court has basically delayed this. And could this potentially delay it past the election as you see it?
This is a huge win for Team Trump, and it can't be overstated. So the Supreme Court is not hearing this until the end of April, which means a decision will not come from the Supreme Court until May or June. And June is when the court year usually closes. So let's assume it's June. At that point, the trial doesn't start the next day. It's not a shotgun start. I mean, they're going to have to file pretrial motions. They're going to have to marshal their witnesses and their evidence. They're going to have to pick a jury, which could take months to pick a jury in a case like that, assuming that the Supreme Court holds that there is no presidential criminal immunity claim for Trump. And so then the trial is already, the state's already said it's going to take 4 to 6 weeks. And so at that point, you are literally smack dab in the middle of election season, in the middle of conventions, where you have this hypothetical situation where the Republican nominee, I mean, I think we all know that absent something crazy happens, he's probably going to be the Republican nominee, is being tried by the opposing party's Department of Justice. I mean, it is a horrible, horrible look for the Department of Justice if it gets that far. And so there is a potential, of course, that, you know, trials are not linear, as we're seeing now. The trial schedules are not linear. There is a potential that this goes past the general election. And then if Trump wins, then there might not be a prosecution at all.
Okay, so if the Supreme Court rules against former President Trump and decides that he can be tried for his actions on January 6th, then what? Can you play out the scenarios here, best and worst case for the former president?
Right. If they do decide, basically, if the Supreme Court takes this up, which it's going to, and says, you know what, we agree with the 2 lower courts who ruled on this, there is no blanket presidential criminal immunity, then Trump is in no different a position than he is now. Then basically this all just gets put back on the trial calendar, and then you could potentially see a trial right in the middle of election season. Now, if Biden wins, then, you know, the general election, then that trial will proceed if there is no presidential immunity. But like I said, if Biden loses and Trump is the president, the DOJ is not going to prosecute a sitting president. And also, it'll then be Trump's DOJ. And we don't know what happens to the prosecution at that case. It might just completely fall apart.
Okay, so if you want more courtroom drama, then you are in luck, because yesterday Illinois became the 3rd state to declare Trump ineligible to run for president. But this decision might not stand very long, because the Supreme Court is also hearing the Colorado case. So tell us what you expect to take place there moving forward.
Well, it's pretty unbelievable that this almost seems like a little bit of a political stunt on the part of the Illinois Supreme Court, because we already have this issue pending before the Supreme Court. And the justices, even the liberal ones, were very skeptical of the Colorado Supreme Court's ability to just unilaterally remove somebody from the ballot in a self-executing way. So I don't think that, I'm not sure why Illinois decided to do this, but I don't think ultimately that they're going to be able to keep him off of the ballot, given the legal framework that's being argued and of the Constitution.
Yeah, politics rules the day. Trump campaign spokesperson said this is an unconstitutional ruling that we will quickly appeal. Lexi, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Lexi.
Waking up early. We appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.